As Hans Olsen has moved on to the corporate world, we're looking for the next great Utah sports radio talent.
There's something for everyone.
While we do that, you get stuck with this guy.
Hey, everybody, here's our star.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, let's get it. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hope you're all having a tremendous, I want to say Monday. Nope. It's Tuesday. Hi, Jake. How are you?
Scotty G. What's up, buddy?
Jake Scott, the friend of the program, starting the first segment of the show.
I like it. I've been friends for a long time.
Yes.
It's a natural spot for me.
We're pushing, 21, 22 years?
Yeah, something like that.
Our friendship can buy beer.
How about that?
Yeah.
Going back to the Average Joe show.
Well, yeah, and the great thing is I remember coming in for the first time, and you were interning.
Uh-huh.
And just giving everybody all kinds of grief.
That's my
job. And I'm like, that's a guy I need to hitch my wagon to.
Oh, man, we had a lot of fun. We still have a lot of fun.
Oh, we do. Absolutely, we do.
It's been a great ride.
Okay, so I know you probably revisited it with Ben, but the cruise, not a huge fan.
No, I'll tell you this. The Disney stuff was great.
That's cool.
Like having access to the princesses and the pictures and all that stuff. Disney has their own island in the Bahamas. And so that that was pretty cool. I've never been to the Bahamas. We went to Nassau. That was,
I gotta imagine that was
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, that was way cool.
Or is it too touristy?
No, I mean, God, when you're in a herd of people exiting anything's touristy, right? But no, we visited the courthouse. We did like a chocolate factory tour and stuff. Like all that was great. But being wedged on a boat with 4,000 of your closest friends, I don't know if I'm in the hurry to do that again.
Did you split it up into two different cabins?
No, same cabin.
Okay.
So with two girls, yeah, I mean that actually was fine.
Okay.
They have like bunk beds and whatever, and you don't spend any time in the cabin.
Did you do the balcony?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You got to do the balcony because honestly, we did an Alaskan cruise a few years ago, and I just loved just sitting on that deck and drinking my Coke Zero and just watching the water
and taking it in.
Yeah. And just that was as good as any excursion out there.
No, the balcony was worth it.
Yeah.
I'm with you there. Doing the breakfast outside and not bad. Not bad at all. But family time,
Yeah. Food all right? There's a lot of quantity, but how was the quality?
Okay, so that was the thing. I was bringing this up on I feel like I'm not a food guy. I'm just not. I'm not a foodie, and I'm not a volume food guy.
Yeah.
I feel like if I were a volume food guy, it would be right up my alley. Because everybody talks about you can just go get whatever you want, whenever you want. I'm like, I don't know. I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So I feel like my kids love the access to the ice cream. I mean, they were eating ice cream all day. But I don't know. If I were more of a food guy, it may have been better.
Yeah. All right.
But I like they Disneyfy the dining room you eat dinner in is like Avengers themed, or we did one night in the Arendelle themed dinner. Like all that stuff Disney kills it.
Did you get the drink card?
No, I don't know if they do that for Disney.
Yeah?
If they do, I did not do it. So, but it's like, they have those kids clubs, and my kids didn't particularly like the kids club. So it's not like I was just adult timing by the pool, we were doing stuff.
Well, yeah. No, we always get the because it's funny, they'll give you all the food in the world, but if you wanted a Diet Coke, they're like, oh, that's $17.
Oh,
so you get that drink card, then it gives you unlimited soda.
All the soda you could drink was all there. I thought you were talking about adult beverages.
No,
those were still like $13 a pop.
Woo. They'll get you. All right, we got a lot to get to on the program today. I want to get your thoughts on a particular issue that I ran into on Saturday.
All
right. Utah State's playing Memphis.
Oh, with Penny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Penny Hardaway in the house. And Christian, I don't know if Lloyd's got the cuts for it or not, but he pulled a little bit of audio for me. But Utah State, it's a close game up until near the end of the first half, and then Utah State really puts the hammer down at the final, like a 17-3 run to end the first half, and then they end up winning. They're up by 20 points with 30 seconds left. They could have ran out the clock twice.
Uh-huh.
Well, one time, Colby King goes down, throws a dunk, does not run out the clock. Then on the other end, they call a foul. on Utah State. The guy misses 2 free throws for Memphis, and Carson Templin pulls down the rebound. Could have just ran out the clock. He outlets it to MJ Collins, who then throws down a windmill dunk as time expires. And all of a sudden, you see Penny Hardaway really upset. Really, really upset. And I'll play his post-game comments a little bit later on in the show, but he said it was classless. You know, he didn't make a big scene out of it, but you could tell he was a little bothered by it.
Uh-huh.
And so afterwards, I talked to Jared Calhoun on the post-game show, and I asked him about it. And Jared Calhoun laid out why and it didn't put anything on the players.
Uh-huh.
It put it all on himself and said, yeah, I'm the one that let these guys go. I'm the one that said, yeah, absolutely, we're going to run up the score. Because, and your Virginia Tech fellow fan, Ken Pomeroy, is going to join us a little bit later on in the program, margin of victory matters. And here's Jared Calhoun telling why he did what he did.
Thought, the last 9-10 minutes we really imposed our will on these guys, but great win. Unfortunately, the way the rules are written, you gotta run people out of the gym. When you have a chance to score points, you have to. We're not sitting home on Selection Sunday saying, hey, we could have scored this basket or that basket. It is what it is. So I said we got to score every single time. It's a stupid system that we have, but it is what it is. We're not going to apologize.
I'm not going to apologize. All right. Did Utah State go too far?
Typical classless Aggies. Absolutely. Typical classless Aggies. Are you telling me that 4 points is going to be the difference between you making the tournament or not? Please. And it's easy, super easy. Don't blame me. Blame the system. I would say just own it. Yeah, we're classless. We're going to dunk. Memphis comes here once a century, so we're going to pour it on them. Why do you have to deflect or whatever? Remember when Jerry Sloan, who did Jerry Sloan almost beat up for doing that? Threw a rebound to himself?
Yeah, so he could get the triple-double.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And Jerry almost fought him right there on the floor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you may not like the unwritten rules, but they are what they are. It's like, back in the old BCS when they actually used the computer systems.
Yeah.
Remember Alabama, scoring 70 points on teams or whatever because margin of victory matters. So what do you want us to do? It's like, how about spirit of the competition and that sort of thing?
Well, here's the thing. I got Jared Calhoun's back on this one. And I know people are like, of course you do. Well, here's the thing. I've been around enough programs to know that teams can get screwed out of – and it's not even about making the tournament for Utah State. It's about – getting a signature win against a name program. Now, Memphis is not good this year.
Right.
They're now 12-13. But when Utah State scheduled this game, they anticipated Memphis being really good. Memphis had come off 4 consecutive 20-win seasons under Penny Hardaway. They'd gone to the tournament 3 out of the last 4 years. Uh-huh. And so when they scheduled this game, it felt like, okay, that's going to be a big resume booster. Well, it wasn't because Memphis isn't very good. So you had to really put the hammer down to show, okay, here's a really athletic team. They came in here and we only beat them by 2. We only beat them by 4. And you know what? When you can tack it on, you run up the score. I got no problem with it.
What was the final?
99-75. The only downside is they didn't hit triple digits.
So I'd rather win by 25 than 21?
Yeah,
or 24 than 20?
Yeah, pretty much. You want to go the ghost of Gary Croton here. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'd say if your season or whatever that seeding came
down. By the way,
to,
Gary Croton's still very much with us. It was just a joke.
That was his quote.
Yeah.
Who did they lost to
They
somebody.
lost to Stanford, and because with 2 points, and instead of running out the clock, he goes for a touchdown. He goes, I'd rather win by 9 than 2.
Yeah.
Well, you lost.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Whoops. I don't know. I just don't buy the justification. If he wants to run it up, knock yourself out, but don't hide from it and say.
I don't think he's hiding from it. He said, I don't apologize.
No, I know. But for what reason? He said, I don't apologize, but then it made an excuse for doing it.
Well, his excuse is that's the system that they're running in right now. I full out believe, because I've known Jared Calhoun long enough, coming up on 2 years now. I firmly believe that if margin of victory did not matter, he would have pulled the dogs off. He would have said, the guys running down the court, he's like, don't do it. Like, I think, whether you agree with it or not, I think in his mind, he's not just trying to run up the score for fun. There is a method to what he's doing. Now, whether or not he's justified in that method, you can argue that all day. But in his mind, there was a reason to do what he did. And I think he's being 100% honest about it. Now, you're right. Is there really a big difference between 18 points and 24-point victory? I don't know. We'll ask Ken Pomeroy about that. I don't imagine it matters that much, but I totally get it too. And what happened to the old, hey, if you're angry about it, go stop him.
Yeah, I agree with that. But, it's the gentlemanly nature. Is that still the word? Is it the being a good sport?
Yeah.
If you're not going to be a good sport, that's fine. If LeBron James wants to pout and not shake any hands and storm off the floor after he wins the NBA title, fine. You can do that. They're still kind of a bad sport. Jared Calhoun, you can say, I could score 4 or 6 points at the end of the game, and that's going to make a huge difference. You're still kind of a bad sport.
You think it's a bad sport? Really?
Yeah. It's not good sportsmanship. But his job isn't to be a good sport.
Of all the people, this is the thing. It's like back in the day with Hans. There would be a movie I'd watch, and I'm like, Hans is going to hate that, or Hans is really going to like that. And then Hans would watch it, and it would be completely opposite. There's movies he liked that I thought he would hate it, and then vice versa. I could never dial him in on his movie preference. I thought for sure, when I brought this up, I thought without an element of doubt, you would be like, hey, if you don't like it, stop it. You don't like it, stop it. By the way, you want to hear Penny after the game? Which is interesting, by the way. The Memphis broadcast, I went back and pulled the audio, and this is Penny Hardaway right after the handshake line. He doesn't go into the locker room and then come right back out for his coach's show. He goes from the handshake lane. He never goes to the locker room. He goes right to that show, which is, I think, first off, I'm amazed that Penny even does a post-game interview. And the second, he does it that quick. So the emotions are pretty raw here for Penny Hardaway.
Hey, Coach, your team fought hard. That's a really good ball club out there.
Yeah, we had it where we needed it. The last 3 minutes of the first half, man. I just don't understand. You just got to keep fighting, bro.
Really, the 17-4 run at the end of the first half. This is a 13-2 run at the last minute and a half here. Really, that's what makes it such a bad part.
You can't keep scoring the ball.
I know.
We came out here to play this game. You got to have more class than that, dog.
I agree with that. MJ Collins didn't need that last dunk.
It ain't even just that last one. It was just the rest of them. You just got to have some type of class, though. Seriously.
Just got to have some kind of class.
Yeah, it was a classless move. Can I explain, though? Because I do think sportsmanship is really valuable in sports. And then maybe this is the young father in me or young kids
because
I
would
whatever.
not. I think 25-year-old Jake would take a different angle on that.
I don't think. Well, who knows? 25-year-old Jake was a little out there. It's one thing. I grew up playing tennis, right?
Yeah.
One thing I love about tennis, you have to walk to the net after it's over and shake the hand of your opponent. You have to. I mean, I guess it's tradition. Maybe there's not a rule or whatever, but every tennis match you watch, as soon as it's over, they walk to the net and they shake hands, because I think that there is value in that, not just in sports, but in society. I did back when LeBron stormed off the floor after the Miami Heat lost. I remember the show the next day criticizing LeBron for not shaking hands, because that's part of sports. It's not. We used to value stuff like that, and now we don't anymore like that. And I think that's a shame. I really do. I think those unwritten rules are there for a reason. Are you there to show people up, or are you there to compete?
So if a guy does too much of a bat flip after a home run.
Yeah. Get it together. Is it your first time? What?
No. I'm asking questions here.
Right. I don't know. I don't like showing up opponents. I think that defeats kind of the overall value of sports, which nobody cares about. But I mean, what message are you sending to young people? And I know that's something, you want somebody, please think of the children. But that stuff matters, you know?
Okay. Here's a couple things here, though. You brought up if you're going to be the heel, be the heel.
Okay.
If you're going to be the villain, be the villain. I'm actually okay with that.
But is it a TV show or is it sports?
Oh, it's the same now.
It is.
Sports is entertainment now.
It is.
And we in the media are somewhat responsible for that. And, you got Stephen A. and everybody else barking up a tree on every little thing. Everything has to be argued these days, when in reality, it used to be just, let's go sit back, have a good time, and watch a game. those days are behind us. Like, yes, there has to be storylines to games, whether we want them to be or not. It just that's what the world we're living in now.
I miss when sports meant a little more.
I think it means more. In fact, I think it means more now.
In a bad way. It means more, meaning like I really don't like, and this is a different thing, but I really don't like the argument about when I talk about how I think they're ruining college sports. And I do. I think all the new rules and all that stuff, I think it's ruining college football. I think it's ruining college sports. I really, really hate the counter argument. Well, they've never been more popular in TV ratings. I don't care. I don't care about TV ratings. That means nothing to me. I don't care if somebody in wherever Tennessee is watching more. It means nothing to me. I thought there were certain things that we loved about sports that drew us to it in the first place. And part of it is the value of healthy competition. I mean, to get back to the NBA, if you want to have an Adam Silver discussion, the integrity of the NBA really matters because without it, people aren't going to watch it. People want to watch a sport with integrity and an even playing field and all this stuff that we actually used to value. Can you imagine if Adam Silver let Steve Ballmer off the hook, said, no, we're not going to do anything about this guy even though he cheated. And then his justification was, well, have you seen the TV ratings? That's not a justification. That's a totally different thing. I don't care how popular it is. It makes no difference.
Don't you think Steve Ballmer is going to get off the hook, though?
Yes, and I think that's a total injustice. I think it's sad, honestly.
Well, I do think we've always had our selected morality on what we're willing to let go.
Logan.
You going to go the morally flexible route on me?
That was my joke, yeah.
Yeah.
Morally flexible up there.
See, I'm trying to raise it to selected morality.
Uh-huh. By the way, that's a 20-year-old joke, too, between Scotty and
I still catch hell for that.
Really?
Oh, my goodness. Me and DJ were just having a fun back and forth one day 20 years ago about college and their dopey, slogans. Commitment to excellence or blah, blah, blah. Everybody has the same thing. And so he's like, what would Utah State's be? And I said, just having fun, academically mediocre, morally flexible. And all of a sudden, I get completely thrown out. We're just joking. We're just having fun. Anyway.
You know why? Because you were right on the money.
Stop it.
Because you were right on. Everybody's sensitive about it.
It's a world-class academic. If you want to be an engineer, go to Utah State. A lot of great academic programs up there. Don't give me the side eye.
No, I was actually going to. My old man was an engineer, and he said he always liked hiring Aggies because they had a good engineering school.
Oh, there you go.
So I was going to be nice, actually.
For once.
Yeah, for once. Oh, are you kidding? Here, I'll tell a Scotty G story that kind of has a funny ending. And this goes into what Penny Hardaway said yesterday. Did you see what he said about the Spectrum?
Oh, yeah.
He said it was maybe the best college basketball environment he's ever played or coached in and really was complimentary about it. I had never been to a Utah State basketball game, until I was working with Scotty G.
Yep.
And you were shocked. You said, you've never been to the Spectrum? What? And Scotty took me to see Utah State with Bogut and Mark Jackson.
Yep.
And I'm trying to remember who was on. Was Spence? That was pre-Spence Nelson, I think, was it? Or was Spence on that team?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
It was somewhere in that neighborhood. And I think Utah won. But
no, Utah State won that.
Did
game.
Utah State win that?
Yeah.
And I was just floored, absolutely floored about what an incredible environment Utah State basketball is. And I've been up there a ton of times since. I used to drag friends up there because I'm like, you got to come see this. This is so fun and it's so great. I thought that was cool of Penny to say that. But the funny part of this story, it was the first time I ever met Ben Bagley. Do you know who Ben Bagley is, Christian? He works for BYU Sports now.
Yeah, and, wow. Christian is young if he doesn't know who Ben Bagley is.
Ben's the best.
Ben is the best.
I love Ben Bagley. It was the first time I ever met Ben and his brother. And the point is that I knew nothing about them, including their religious background. And Scotty Scotty took me to the pizza joint that all the kids go to after the game was over, so we get some pizza. And I thought, now I knew Scotty did not imbibe and have beers, but I did not know about Ben and his brother. So I decided to buy a pitcher of beer for the table as we ate our pizza. Lo and behold, I discovered that Ben, not a beer drinker, nor is his brother. So I did the only thing the responsible thing to do, and I drank the whole pitcher myself.
No beer left behind.
I have never had to pee worse in my entire life than when we were coming down that canyon and driving back to Salt Lake. I remember it to this day. I had to pee so bad. And if I remember correctly, Scotty was mean and wouldn't pull over and made me just ride it out.
Classless.
Way to bring it full circle, Scotty. Classless Aggie begging him, tears in my eyes. I had to pee so bad. He's like, nope. Guess you're not going to drink the whole pitcher next time, huh?
Yeah.
Bet you'll leave some beer behind next time, huh?
You lush.
I was just trying to be nice, and it ended up in significant pain. But I'll tell you what, anybody who's never been to Logan to see a Utah State basketball game should go. And we could even bring up the story about when Scotty...
we don't need...
Scotty...
Hey, whoa. You want to go full circle? This is why you run up the score, because crazy things can happen.
Except for Utah State was up by what? Like 8? 7?
Oh, I think it was double digits.
Was it double digits?
I think so.
So, Christian, Utah State was playing against Pacific.
Yes.
They were both ranked in the top 25.
Yes.
This was like the two best teams in Big West history outside of UNLV. And Utah State was up double digits with, 90 seconds to go.
Yeah.
And the athletic director was the Colonel.
Randy Spetman. Scotty goes up to the Colonel and says, "Congrats, Colonel, on the victory. Way to go." Heck of a win, Colonel.
Utah State collapses. I mean, like, a million things had to happen for Utah State to lose the game, and they did. I think it was overtime? Or did they lose in regulation?
May have been regulation. I can't even remember. I remember the game. I just don't remember.
And to this day, I still blame Scotty G.
Yeah, because I jinxed it.
One of the most epic collapses I've ever seen in person.
And it's funny because Spencer Nelson, who was on that team and did turn the ball over a couple times late in that game, he does color analyst for me now at Utah State, and he likes to, like, when there's like 7 minutes left, and he's like, this game's over. And I'm like, you of all people, of all people should not be doing this. You know better than anybody how a game can get away from you.
I'll tell you what, like Ben today was talking about, well, does BYU have an excuse now with no Richie Saunders if they don't go? And it's like, yeah, of course they do. Utah State has been blaming not beating Arizona on Spence Nelson's flu for 20 years now.
Okay, first off, it was mono.
Okay, mono. Excuse me. If Spencer Nelson didn't have mono,
and that's why they didn't pull off the 15-2 upset.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, J.C. Carroll was pouring it on him for the first 2 minutes of the game. And then they lost by 20.
Yeah, they did.
But yet every Aggie fan out there would be like, if Spencer Nelson was healthy that game, I tell you what.
Are you serious? People do that? I haven't heard people complain about that.
Well, it was a long time ago, Scotty.
Yeah, okay. Was I that guy? I don't think I was that guy.
Oh, for sure.
No.
You covered that game if I
did.
remember.
Yeah, I was up in Boise.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. Thanks, Jake.
Good
Appreciate
to see you, pal. You're
He's
the best, Scotty.
Jake Scott hanging out with us. Remember, you hear him every day from 10 to 12. By the way, how did the arm hold up on the cruise?
Oh, you mean the excuse that I just sat there and watched my family have a good time? Yeah, it was fine.
Oh, it sounds like, that went over well.
Yeah, it was great. You know, the uncomfortable sleeping, all of that. Yeah, it just added to
because those beds on cruises are just
historically comfortable. Or,
great,
notoriously
just incredibly. Yeah.
With a fractured humerus, it was wonderful.
Oof.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Believe it or not, this guy actually has friends.
Nice.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nice. You know what? Song selection over the last couple of weeks has been immaculate, Lloyd. And there's no hint of sarcasm there whatsoever. Not one bit. All right, Scott Gerard with you, Lloyd Cole making it happen as always. So the big story last week, and it carried over into the weekend, and it continues to be a hot topic, why the Utah Jazz are the focal point of the NBA. Why is all of a sudden you got a bunch of talking heads out there, Bobby Marks, and others that have now pinpointed the Utah Jazz as being the team that's bringing down the integrity of the NBA. Yes, because tanking is very new. The Utah Jazz were the first to ever do it. And yes, it's got to stop right now because the Jazz could not get away with this travesty. So it was All-Star Weekend. One of the reasons I do think the Jazz, look, the NBA had to make an example out of somebody or felt like they needed to make an example out of somebody. And that somebody was the Utah Jazz. Like, hey, let's pick on somebody. Okay, let's go after the mid-market team. Let's go after the Jazz. We're not going to go after the Mavericks if they did it. We're not going to go after the Spurs when they did it. We're not going to go after all these other teams. What we're going to do is we're going to see the Jazz because they did something a little different. They didn't play guys in the fourth quarter. Instead of sitting them out the entire game, no, they played them for 3 quarters and then shut them down in the fourth quarter. This has gambling written all over it. And now the reports are coming out that, yes, the gambling companies that are investing a lot of money into the NBA were ticked at the Utah Jazz and expressed that to Adam Silver. Make no mistake, it isn't that the Jazz tanked. It has nothing to do with the competitive balance of the NBA. It's the way in which they did it. And that makes people upset. Prop bets, those types of things, that's what's really fueling gambling. Because a lot of us are looking at gambling when we grew up, and this is the kind of gambling that, I would enjoy when you go down to Vegas, is you would say, okay, you know what? The line is -5 for the Jazz. I'm going to take that line. Boom. And that's it. Maybe you'd work in a halftime score. That's it. But now, with the online aspect of all of this, you can essentially lay a bet almost on every possession. You know what? How many carries is so-and-so going to get on this drive? The prop bets are what is fueling the bonfire that is gambling right now. That's what's really ignited this. Now, us old school guys, you lay $20 on, the Seahawks to cover the Super Bowl. You can still get yourself in a little bit of trouble, but at the end of the day, it's pretty harmless. But now the ability to do it from your phone and to do it fast and have so many options available to you are getting people in a lot of bad situations. It also allows for a lot of fraudulent behavior by players and coaches, as we've seen, because an individual player could have an impact before. They can have a much, much bigger impact now. But because of these prop bets, you're looking at halftime scores, you're looking at second half scores, and when the Jazz tell everybody, yeah, Lauri Markkanen's going to go, Jaren Jackson's going to go, then everybody's like, okay, well, this is your bet, your point total on Lauri Markkanen. Will you have 22.5? That's your over-under. Well, let's say he's at 17 going into the fourth quarter, and the Jazz shut him down. Then you got these prop bettors out there like, hey, this isn't okay. He was supposed to be playing. Now he's not playing in the fourth quarter because they're tanking. I wish he wouldn't have played the entire game. Then I would have known going in I wasn't going to touch that line. See, that's what's got people upset. It's not that the Jazz are tanking. It's the way in which they are doing it. And it's ticking off gamblers. It's ticking off your FanDuels, your DraftKings, and all those other guys out there that want instantaneous gambling opportunities throughout the course of a game. Not a full game, individual even possessions of a game. So, of course, it's All-Star Weekend, and Adam Silver has to get up in front of the media, and here's the Q&A of Adam Silver addressing the tanking, horrible behavior of the Jazz and others.
As you know, what media and fans call tanking has been a part of this league's culture here for some time, and you've been asked about it a lot. This week, the Jazz were fined $500,000. Indiana was fined $100,000. Kind of a few related questions to that. Why now, the fines for those teams specifically? And do you feel like tanking is worse this season than it has been in the past? And what are some of the solutions the league is discussing to ensure that when fans go to a game or they watch a game on TV that both teams are competing to win that night?
So, Dan, I'll maybe answer it out of order a bit because several questions. You're right. I'll just use the colloquial tanking term. Yes, it's been part of this league for a long time. I mean, back in the 1960s, there was a coin flip. At some point, I think it was in the 1980s, we moved to a lottery. That lottery has been changed, I think, roughly 5 times over the years to try to stay ahead of some of the behavior of our teams. The incentives are not necessarily matched here. I think that the tradition in sports where the worst performing team receives the first pick from their partners. When any economist comes and looks at our system, they always point out you have the incentives backwards there. That doesn't necessarily make sense. I think there was a more classical view of that in the old days where it was just sort of an understanding among partners about in terms of behavior. I think what we're seeing is a modern analytics where it's so clear that the incentives are misaligned. I think when you maybe to further answer your question, are we seeing behavior that is worse this year than we've seen in recent memory? Yes, is my view, and which was what led to those fines, and not just those fines, but to my statement that we're going to be looking more closely at the totality of all the circumstances this season in terms of teams' behavior, and very intentionally wanted teams to be on notice. And there is a bit of a note when you see it quality to this. I mean, we spend a lot of time at the league office going back and forth with teams on injury reports, on coaches' decisions. It's not a position necessarily want to be in, but I'd say also to address your question, it's not what the fans want at the end of the day, although my caveat is, and this is where teams are in a difficult place, many of you in this room have written, and understandably about our teams, that the worst place to be, for example, is to be a middle-of-the-road team, either be great or be bad, because then that will help you with the draft. And so in many cases, you have fans of those teams, maybe it's not what they want to pay for to see poor performance on the floor, but they're actually rooting for their teams in some cases to be bad, to improve their draft chances. So I think we're coming at it I'd say in two ways. One is, again, focusing on the here and now, the behavior we're seeing from our teams, and doing whatever we can to remind them of what their obligation is to the fans and to their partner teams. But number two, as I also said in that statement, the competition committee started earlier this year re-examining the whole approach to how the draft lottery works. And ultimately, any changes will require a vote of the Board of Governors, so it then will need to go in front of the board. But there have been lots of different ideas out there over the years, not just necessarily changing the draft lottery odds yet once again, but looking at whether there's a better system here to try to align incentives. I think the point about this year, when you look at the totality of the circumstances, I mean, of course, I'm paying attention to what's happening, and the perception is you have a very deep draft class this year, a perception, who knows whether this will be the reality, that the next 2 years' draft classes aren't as good. There's no doubt that's affecting the behavior of our teams. But at the end of the day, I think there needs to I think all the teams need to step back, the ownership of those teams, and just as a reminder that we're all in this together, that we want to have fair competition, we want to have fair systems, and to keep an eye on the fans, most importantly, and their expectation that we're going to be putting the best product forward.
That was, how long was that cut, Lloyd? 4 minutes and...
4 minutes and 30 seconds.
4 minutes and 30 seconds of nothing. That was 4 minutes and 30 seconds of Adam Silver talking and not learning a certain thing about the situation. That was 4 minutes and 30 seconds of tap dancing. That's 4 minutes of 30 seconds of deflecting. That's 4 minutes and 30 seconds of contradicting himself. First off, hey, you know what? We got to think about the fans. Oh, but yeah, we do know that fans sometimes want you to be bad and will be cheering for you to lose. But we're going to do this for the fans. The fans deserve, I don't understand anything. In fact, this is my response to what Adam Silver just said.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
There you go. That's the only response to that blubbering, moronic answer in which Adam Silver cannot say what he wants to say. Well, I don't think he really wants to say it, but the truth is, Adam Silver can't tell the truth. The truth is, you got a couple of people really mad at you. Number one, you got Oklahoma City. You got the defending champs out there. They're like, hey, we get that pick if they play well. And this is a loaded draft. We need them to win games. We want that pick. So you got Oklahoma City, as Tony Jones mentioned last week. Oklahoma City behind the scenes is raising a big fuss about this. And then you got your big-time sponsors that are putting a lot of money into the NBA. DraftKings, FanDuel, and they're like, hey, we got prop bettors out there that have Larry Marketing at taking the over on 21.5, and they're crying foul because they want us to refund their money because in the fourth quarter, this team wants to tank and didn't play him. Look, there's a reason. The only reason, by the way, that injury reports are a thing in college football now. And you heard Adam Silver reference injury reports. There's only one reason injury reports exist. There's only one reason they exist in the NFL. There's only one reason they exist in the NBA. And there's only one reason why they're popping up in college athletics. Why? Gambling. That's it. There's no reason to have injury reports. It's not about fairness. It's about a gambler wanting to know, hey, is my quarterback going to play or not? Oh, he's listed as out? Okay, well then I'm not touching that line. That's it. That's all this comes down to. And this is coming from a guy who's laid a decent amount of money on some lines back in the day. I understand the role that gambling plays in sports. And you can easily see what's going on here. And Adam Silver can tap dance his way for 4 minutes and 30 seconds to say why he did what he did, but he never actually said anything. The only thing he said was, well, the fans deserve this. Well, you also acknowledge that Jazz fans are fired up at Adam Silver. Why? Because they won't let the Jazz do what they want to do. The fans want this. The fans see a loaded NBA draft coming up. What do they want? They want one of those picks. If a Jazz fan could choose what he wants for his team right now, they would say, let them tank. Do not win another game this year. So, how is Adam Silver going to fix this? Well, he's got some thoughts.
We got to look at some fresh thinking here. I mean, what we're seeing right now is not working. There's no question about it. And yes, is there more I can do? Have I attempted not only to, respond to behavior we've seen, but send a clear message that we're going to be scrutinizing everything we see going forward? Absolutely. But I don't think that's the way to manage this system long term of I know it when I see it, or people in the league office. It'll lead to very unhealthy relationships between us and our teams.
If I could follow up.
Sure.
Is there any talk of taking draft picks away from teams that do this as opposed to finding them?
There is talk about every possible remedy now to stop this behavior.
Watch the Jazz end up losing their draft pick because Adam Silver wants to pick on somebody. So who's he going to pick on? He never picked on San Antonio for what they did. When Dallas did it, they never picked on them. Golden State has one of the most monumental. Harrison Barnes would have been a member of the Utah Jazz had Golden State not done what they have done. You go down the list, everybody in the league, in some way, shape, or form, has a tanking background. But now it's the Jazz. Okay, who's easy to pick on? Oh, let's go after the team in Salt Lake, which is interesting.
You can't do that mid-season, right?
No.
You have to wait till implement a rule for next year. Like, it can't happen this year.
No,
there's no way.
If it happened this year, I would say Ryan Smith would get an army of lawyers that would rain havoc. But let's just talk about this, and I apologize. Somebody put this out on Twitter, and I should reference it. I don't know if it was a media member or a fan. I read it, and it resonated with me. I thought it was spot on. The NHL chose Salt Lake City and Smith Entertainment Group to take over a really bad situation in Arizona. They're like, hey, we're going to give you this team. You're going to give us a lot of money. We're going to give you this team, but we need them to be on the ice in about 7 months. Ready, go. Are you willing to do it? Good. We trust you that you can do it. And guess what? SEG knocked it out of the park. Did a tremendous job. And now you've got, it was Cole Bagley who said this. All right. Cole nailed this. Absolutely nailed this. The NHL has gone above and beyond its praise and its admiration for Salt Lake City and this organization and the ownership group. Hey, they got an outdoor game at Rice-Eccles Stadium coming up next year. All of these things we love Salt Lake City. Love Salt Lake City. What is it with the Jazz and the NBA where it's always got this weird, hey, you know what? Let's beat up on these guys. Let's beat up on them. You know what? The NHL has embraced Salt Lake City immediately. The NBA is doing everything it can to distance itself from Salt Lake City. And it drives me absolutely nuts. All right, 12:49. By the way, again, shout out Cole Bagley for coming up with that example. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. What you may have missed coming up next.
You're listening to Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
So I know that there's a lot of you out there that feel like it's a Monday because, holiday yesterday. But, hey, it's a Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, and your chance to win tickets is right now.
Call this number now.
Call this number now.
Be caller number 12 at 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. And you'll be on your way to Delta Center to see the Utah Jazz.
He fires the three. He hits. Oh, don't do me like that.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, you know the drill. Jazz Ticket Tuesday. Call in. We're 12 right now. 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. You win a pair of tickets. See the Jazz and the Pelicans coming up on February 26th at the Delta Center. Game tips off at 7 o'clock. All right, All-Star game yesterday. And, Lloyd, I want you to be 100% honest with me. I know you got to pick up a phone here real quick. Did you watch the All-Star game yesterday or any part of it?
I flipped it on and I know everybody loved it. I flipped it on for a second, but I've lost my interest in it.
Yes.
The game itself, that game itself. I did watch the 3-point contest.
Yeah.
I turned off the dunk because it was terrible. I did watch the 3-point contest, but that was it. That was the only thing that I watched. And I flipped on the game only for a minute. And I was like, eh. And I know a lot of people were liking the game itself.
Yeah, actually, for once, the NBA actually had a decent All-Star game where, you split it up. You got Team Stars, Team Stripes, in the world. Like, there were a lot of different competitions where it felt like dudes were actually competing. And that's all you want. I mean, you just want actual, honest, solid competition out there. And I think yesterday, you got it. To a certain extent. Now, does that mean it's going to continue? I don't know. But yesterday, it did feel like for a moment that people actually gave two you-know-whats about the All-Star game. And I don't know if it was Victor Wembanyama who came out of nowhere to really light up the competitive nature in that thing. I don't know. Sometimes it just takes one guy, two guys to really play all out to have everybody else kind of fall into place. But honestly, there was a moment there I'm like, okay, all right, not awful. This doesn't stink. This is actually pretty solid competition here. You hope it can continue. It's just hard nowadays, and I get it. Like, honestly, I watch the old clips of the old NFL Pro Bowl, and you see guys like Ronnie Lott laying dudes out, and you don't want to see that necessarily. Like, if you're a owner or a coach of a player who's playing lights out and all of a sudden just gets completely just smacked around, that's not good for business. I get that. And I understand why the NFL ultimately had to go away from that because the players weren't giving it all. They didn't care. They didn't want to get hurt. So nobody really wanted to do anything in that game. The NBA got back to a little bit of sanity yesterday in its All-Star game. You want a trip. You want to enjoy something. For all you kids out there, do me a favor. This is what I want you to do. Go to YouTube and look up the All-Star game in Salt Lake City. No, not the one 2 years ago, the one in 1993. Go all the way back to 1993 and watch that All-Star game. If you want an example of what an All-Star game used to look like when guys actually cared, that is a prime example. You got Mark Price playing for the East, and he is red hot. And you've got dudes setting double screens for him. You got Michael Jordan setting a screen for Mark Price because he's got it. He's on a heater in that game. You got John and Carl doing their thing. They ended up being co-MVPs, winning the game in overtime. But, yeah, we will never see anything like that ever again. Like, that's a different era, and it's not coming back. But I'm telling you, like, if you're under 30 and you want to see a prime All-Star game matchup, that's the one to watch. Because you will see things that, frankly, you don't see now in any kind of all-star game venue. And that's fine. I totally understand it, and I get it. But yesterday we got a glimpse. We just got a little bit of a glimpse on what it could ultimately look like when it's all said and done. All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, 1 o'clock straight up. We got a busy remainder of the show straight ahead, where Kurt Heelan's going to join us. Bill Armstrong will join us coming up as well. Ken Pomeroy will join us at 2:30 as we kind of take a look at the Jared Calhoun comments and talk about the system. Ken Pom will join us coming up at 2:30 as well. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.